Hey folks, welcome to Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
Good afternoon, folks. It looks like we're live, right, Jeff? Are you hearing me? Anyway, it looks like we're live, friends, and we're getting ready to get started with Treasure Talk. And Jeff, I'm hoping that your internet works a little bit better, but we're going to go ahead and get it going. And today's show, as you know, is brought to you by your friends at Myers Metal Detectors, where we sell fun and adventure. And the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Treasure Talk and its guests belong solely to the guest or member and not necessarily to Myers Metal Detectors, Jeff Monin, Phil Myers, or Jocelyn Myers. And we've got an exciting guest today, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Jeff.
Okay, well, hopefully the internet will work better. We're working on a solution for that, but for right now, this is what we have. So we're going with what we have. And hopefully it'll work decent tonight. So tonight, everybody, we got a very, very rare treat in store for you. If you have never heard of him, then you have been on the other side of the world too long. From American Digger Magazine is in the house tonight. Butch is a legend. He's got a fantastic magazine that he publishes, and he's got a Relics Roundup show that will be on later tonight. It's like a radio show, so y'all need to tune into that. Check out American Digger Magazine, and Butch has just got a wealth of knowledge. And I always say, if Butch don't know it, then you don't need to know it, and he knows more than we. He's forgotten we ever knew. So I'm going to bring Butch on, and we'll get him going here. So everybody, here is Butch Holcomb, American Digger Magazine.
Hey guys, hey folks, hello everybody out there.
Hey, Butch.
I know a lot of this stuff because I actually remember when a lot of this stuff was lost. I just had a birthday and we're already going to say what it is, but I am still in the double digits, so I'm young.
Oh, there you go. Well, Butch, we're glad to have you on the show today. And I know we'll have a lot of questions for you.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you.
But real quick, tell us first where you're located at, and tell us how long you've been doing the magazine.
Okay, I'm actually located in Marietta, Georgia. That's just north of Atlanta. And the magazine is actually going into its 17th, or it's actually in the middle of its 17th year. And it's never missed an issue. I've been there from the start. In fact, my wife and I were the ones that started the magazine, and we're still going strong with it. And now, with the addition of digital issues, we have actually increased our circulation worldwide. So there's actually people overseas now, a lot of people that read American Digger Magazine. But of course, we still have the print issues too. So
yes,
we're everything. In fact, I think you sell them at your store, Phil.
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Yeah. It's my favorite magazine because most people think I'm just a beach hunter, but I have a passion for artifacts. And that's where I met you at a DIV hunt years ago up in Culpeper, Virginia.
That's correct. Absolutely.
And I just love that magazine. And it's a good reference guide for you folks who are into relic hunting. It's an excellent magazine for identifying things. I'll go back to a past issue and look it up and find it, and it's just an awesome magazine. I did want to ask you about the before we get started on the questions here, and Jeff, if you want to jump in anytime, just do so. But I want to ask you about the digital copy.
Yeah.
When the people get a copy of that, it's emailed to them, correct?
The digitals are. That's correct.
Okay, and are they able to print it out?
They actually can. It's a PDF format. So some people do prefer to do that. They like the digital because it's a little cheaper, and generally it comes out a little bit before the regular issue does. And Yeah, it's a PDF, so you can actually print it out and read it when you want to that way. It's
Yeah,
not high quality as far as the gloss photos and all the
right.
magazine is, but still you got a reference.
Yeah,
And we are all about reference. That's something we
absolutely. Yeah, because you want to research an artifact or something. It's nice. So I might be getting the digital copy too. I did have a question. The reason I'm asking about that is one of the, I guess he's on here, and Jeff's going to have him on the show later. He had the story, Jim Tippett, I guess
Oh,
Jimmy Crossbones
yeah.
Bones. Yeah, he found all the gold coins over there on the Treasure Coast. And I sold out of the magazine, I think, in probably 10 days.
It is almost sold out because we don't actually go back and reprint magazines because a lot of
Right.
them are collector items. We print plenty most of the time. This one outsold every one we've ever had because
Right.
of that story. So we're getting low on them. If anybody wants one, I suggest they go ahead and order.
Yeah, I already called Anita or emailed her and said, "Hey, can I get some more?" And she said, "I got 5 for you, but that's it." So I guess they're going now.
Well,
So,
and now that brings up another benefit of digital on the issues that we do sell out of. Then you can always go back and read it by looking at it digitally.
right.
Kind of
So
fairly safe.
that's perfect for that. But I'll probably have 5 in a few days, and of course, I'll have your book too, and we'll talk about that in a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit for sure. But yeah, I was amazed that they sold out so quick. But I knew that
no,
story. You know, everybody comes in the shop, sees that on the counter, and if you saw our entry of that Jeff did for me, uh, the magazine is right there on our front counter, American Digger. So
yes, it is. I noticed that.
so anybody wants an American Digger, be sure to stop in the shop. We're there Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
There's the article that's got everybody talking.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
an incredible, incredible article.
Yes. You know, to find one gold coin would just be unbelievable, but to find all those
Oh yeah, on the beach.
and all the silver coins,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I would be
Let it be said that beach hunting does not have some old surprises sometimes. It's not
absolutely.
always modern jewelry.
Yeah, it's not always modern jewelry, especially on the East Coast. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're on the West Coast, it's kind of a rarity to get a silver coin or to get
That
something
would
old.
be
I mean, I've had that happen, but it's extremely rare. But over there, I understand them finding the artifacts and the older coins because you have more beach erosion. We're
yeah,
on the Gulf side, and it's pretty much flat, and there's just not that erosion, and stuff would
exactly.
be found if it was lost.
Yeah.
Do we have
They
questions?
call it the
from anyone
treasure
at this
coast
time?
for a reason.
Yeah. So Jeff, how we doing, buddy?
we're
we up?
doing good so far.
We're up on YouTube and Facebook now. Yeah, it looks like we are. So I
I
guess
believe
we'll go
we
ahead and get started on.
are indeed.
We'll get started on some questions. So, Butch,
Sure.
why don't you tell us how long you've been detecting?
Oh my goodness. Well,
Then
I
don't say much about
actually
Jesus.
started with my own detector in 1969. I had seen it done a few years before that, but in 1969, my dad and I got a Heathkit metal detector, which you had to actually put together, and had a great time with it. Found a few things, but it just wasn't up to the dirt here in North Georgia, which is where I grew up. But I've been at it quite a while. So 52 years altogether, I believe.
Well, you probably got me
53,
beat
actually,
by,
53, yeah.
yeah, you got me beat by at least 13 years, but
Well, and I'm still, you guys are just like me. Y'all are going to do it till you can't do it anymore. And I still go as often as I can.
absolutely keeps you young. Get out there
It,
walking and moving.
it
That's the
does
secret.
best exercise in the world and best social distancing too, except when you make a good find and everybody runs over because they see you doing the little victory dance, then
Yes.
but that's okay. It's still
Yeah.
got that social distancing in them. Best
Well,
hobby ever.
yeah. Well, most of us have our shots already. I'm sure you probably got yours.
It's coming up. It's scheduled for next week, the first one.
I've had both of mine, and my wife's had hers. I know Jeff and his wife have had theirs. So
My wife has had her first. Did you do okay after the second one? That's the one that seems to give people some trouble.
You know, other than my sore arm, I didn't have any issues. And my wife got the Johnson and Johnson
No problem.
a
Yeah.
while ago, and she had no problem. Jeff didn't have any problem, so we're just hoping that it goes away. So
You better believe it. Get back to normal.
yes, as normal as we can get it.
Yeah.
So, Butch, how did you come up with the name American Digger?
Oh, well, you know, I used to do a lot of freelance writing before I did it full time. I did a lot of freelance writing for some other metal detective magazines, and we'd been up to visit one up in Virginia, and saw how they had put everything together and all, and we'd been discussing, maybe we could do this, and so on the way back, we started convincing ourselves, yeah, we could probably do a magazine, but what are we going to call it? And we went through, in fact, I found the list the other day, and some of the names were hilarious, but we made a list on the drive back from Virginia. And by the time we got back, we had already decided on American Digger because it encompasses America as far as our artifacts and our heritage and history go. And it encompassed what we enjoy doing, which is digging in the dirt. So it said it all, really.
Absolutely. And
in fact, that name we won't go into detail on it, but there was a TV show at one time named that too, and we were very loosely connected with it. We allowed our name to be used before we realized that we shouldn't have done that. So actually, after that, we had the name trademark. So if you see American Digger now, it's connected with Anita, myself, or American Digger Enterprises.
yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that show because of
Either.
the money aspect of it.
Yeah.
And it was just everything had a dollar amount. I just didn't like that. To me, it's not about the value of it. It's more about
Right.
saving a piece of history.
Exactly. That's the way we felt too. It's a long story. You can find out about it online and all, but in the end, we ended up with our name and kept our name, and they changed the name of the show, and then I believe it went the way of the dodo bird after about a year.
Yeah, they didn't last long, and
Right.
hey, people are making fun of my hair. Come on now.
It's COVID hair. I just wish I had hair.
Hey, there you go. See, I went and got a haircut today. It's a COVID haircut. You get them every 8 months, whether you need it or not. So it was 8 months since my last haircut. At least it felt like 8 months.
Exactly.
So I even got my beard trimmed. So I'm real happy about it. But Rick, quit making fun of my hair. Look, you made the guests run out because you start making fun of hair. But
you need to get my hat.
okay. Now that's some hair.
That's hair, man. That's COVID hair.
That is.
That's the truth. We'll start calling you Dread Butch.
Look, I'm Pokemon.
Oh, that's.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, you gotta laugh.
We've
been doing this for so long. We gotta laugh about it.
Well,
but,
absolutely. I mean, history is a very serious thing. It's something that it's fascinating and something we all learn from and something all of us enjoy. But at the end of the day, it's got to be fun. If it's not fun, why do it? I mean,
absolutely.
Why get out and dig holes if you're not going to have fun doing it? Why dig up crap? Because most of what we dig up is people's junk.
It is. It was thrown away years ago or dropped or lost. So I enjoy it. But let's get back to my questions here, Butch. How many detectors do you own?
Oh my goodness. I've got a closet full. I own at least 5 different brands, and I've always tried to make it a habit that any manufacturer that actually advertises with us and supports us, that I try to use their metal detectors, and that's worked out real well because they're good metal detectors. That's why they're in our magazine.
Yes, absolutely.
I have I believe 5. I've probably got 6 or so, 7 even, but there's 3 or 4 I use all the time.
Yeah. And what is your favorite one now today?
Actually, my favorite one is because of the immense power that I can get out of it, plus the lightweight, is the XP Deus.
XP Deus. Okay.
Yeah, they all have their uses. They're all good in certain aspects. For instance, when I go water hunting in fresh water, I love the Garrett AT Pro. When I go to real hot, super ironish ground, I'll go to a Minelab GPX. I've used the Equinox a little bit, but not very much with that. I'm still not familiar with it. And that's one thing, no matter how many detectors you have, if you don't get familiar with at least one or two of them, you're just wasting your time. You can't switch all the time. Find one you like, stick with it in a certain situation, and then, in other situations, like for instance, if I'm going in real heavy trash, I have an old Fisher F75 with a little bitty sniper coil on it, and that's my tool of choice. I know the detector, I know the Deus, I know all the ones that I hunt with, and that's real important.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I know Jeff up there, he uses a Deus for relic hunting sometimes, right, Jeff?
Yeah, if I'm digging in the dirt, I'm using the Deus. If I'm on the beach, I'll use my Equinox. But Butch, that must not have gone through.
Oh, the audio, I think, cut out.
The audio.
Well, men with detectors are like women with shoes. You can never have enough.
That's right.
I like that. You got to come to the shop, get another detector.
That's exactly right.
At least 7. But I'll say that the
Deus buys, you're entitled to buy a detector.
Yes, every time your wife buys a pair of shoes, you get a new detector.
Question, Richard Walsh.
Yes.
Did you use a Flowbee?
Did you use a Flowbee? These guys are hard on my hair. They want to know if I used a Flowbee. No, and I didn't. I'm not painting my hair. My good friend wanted me to paint my hair. He wanted me to be called Pintapelo, which is Spanish for painted hair. No, I haven't painted my hair yet either. So,
they actually sold a product for a long time. I don't know if it's still on the market or not, but it was spray on hair.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I've never used it.
I got a good comb over going, so it hides the bald spot. But lay off the hair, guys. We got to get through the list. So, Butch, I got to ask you this question here. What is your favorite type of thing?
And digging Canucks.
What's that?
Repeat it, Jeff. You're breaking up, buddy.
Digging Canuck says she likes shoes and detectors.
Yeah, she does. I see that in her videos.
Yeah,
right there in the great north.
Yeah, she's way up there.
Oh, yes.
Further than the north. And I guess this is a good time for me to say I'm going to be on Liz's show on May 16th on a Sunday morning. So I have to miss church that week and go to her show. So it'll be fun. Anyway, I got to ask this question, Butch, and I already know the answer, but what is your favorite type of hunting?
Actually, it's relic hunting. It used to be mostly Civil War hunting that really excited me. Now, if I can get in a colonial site, I still get real excited about that. That's kind of a new thing in the last 10 years I've discovered. But don't get me wrong, I'll still, if I'm in Florida or near a beach, I'll still be out there swinging, looking for jewelry, looking for whatever I find on the beach. But usually when I have my choice, the older and more historical, the better to me.
Yeah, I like digging a piece of history.
Yeah, there's something about digging up something that's 150, 200 years old and thinking, wow, the person that touched this last, they're long gone. This is a direct connection with them.
Right. Absolutely.
Gary Grace is doing a screen share on Big TV and it looks great. I don't know if he needs to show it.
Oh, hey, Gary says he's looking at watching us on the big screen on his TV.
Oh, bless his
heart. It looks great, and I'm hoping he's talking about my hair. But
Is the glare hurting you? Does the glare mess up the picture? I apologize.
So your favorite, I guess, now is colonial sites then.
Well, it depends on where I've got a chance to go. Honestly, I will admit I still prefer a good, solid Civil War site. But if I get on a Rev War site that's got more targets, then that's what I want. So
Yeah.
it's a toss up between the two. I just love digging the old stuff.
So do you attend many of the big hunts all over
Um,
the country?
I try to attend about 5 or 6 a year. A lot of them conflict with each other, so you may see me at one hunt one year and not at the hunt next year. I may be at a different one. In July, I'm actually going to be, for the first time, I'm going to be going to the FMDAC's Treasure Week hunt up in Pennsylvania. And we just missed the Garrett hunt, but we're planning on being at that one next year. We have a representative there, but I wasn't there personally.
Right, that's
I
the
like
big
going to
one.
these things because I want to hunt and see all my buddies and all.
Yeah, the Charles Garrett Memorial Hunt, I guess.
Yeah, that is an awesome, and Garrett is an awesome company too. As far as customer service, they can't be beat. So,
Yeah, they are a good company. I've sold their products for a long time,
yeah.
and little to no complaints ever. Their customer service is really good, so customers love them. Even the AT Pro and AT Max still going strong.
Oh yeah,
Of
they
course,
are.
they just came out with the Apex, so
Mhm.
that's starting to get some traction now too. The multi-frequency. Can't wait till they come out with a waterproof version of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's a. I think that's probably going to be coming up. Let's hope next. And
Yeah,
it's kind of cool too. As y'all know, White's closed their door, and Garrett stepped in. I don't know what their plans are, but they bought the White's name and a lot of the White's inventory.
right.
They kept an American company alive, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That they bought it for
Yeah.
sure. And so you've got a hunt coming up. You said in July.
Yes, in July, the FMDAC, Federation of Metal Detecting and Archaeological Clubs, which has Treasure Week every July. It's up in Pennsylvania, and Anita and I both are going to be going to that hunt.
Nice.
So if anybody wants to find out about that, message me on Facebook or give us an email, however you want to get in touch with us. We'll tell you more about it.
Yeah, and
And
that's
last year I was, or this past year, I was also in Florida hunting. The first time I've done that hunt, so that was fun.
Florida Hunt 7.
Yep.
yeah, yeah. The FMDAC they had a hunt years ago. I mean, it must have been at least 20 years ago in Clearwater,
Hmm.
and or on what was it, Sand Key, which is just south of Clearwater. And I guess we had a hurricane out in the Gulf, and it was a brutal hunt on the beach. I'm
Oh,
telling
geez.
you, the wind and the sand and the rain hitting you while doing the seated hunt. Oh, that was a brutal one. I thought I was going to die. And,
That is
and
tough hunting.
and
That's a good way to get sand blasted. I mean, when that
you
sand
were, and it
blows
was
around,
cold.
oh my,
The water was cold and it was windy, and I was watching guys get blown down, and the hunt field was underwater. And I was watching guys get,
no.
3 or 4 inches of water
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh gosh.
It was just a tough hunt, but let's hope they do it here in Florida again, and just we have better weather the next time.
Really, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So, what other hunts you got are coming up
Um,
this
oh
year?
gosh, I don't have a list in front of me. Okay, I don't actually know. I'm going to have to check my list and see. I
Okay.
don't know. Anita does all my scheduling for me and then tells me where I'm going to be.
Yeah, because I know things are starting to open up again.
Yes, they are.
How about shows?
Yeah, shows. We actually put on 2 shows of ourselves. American Digger events. We have one in Charleston, South Carolina every January, and we have one coming up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, actually July 25th. And no, wait, that date is wrong. I think it's in July, the last week in July, 24th and 25th. I need to just say it.
Okay, and
So
that's
that one's, and I tell you, these shows are fantastic for anybody that metal detects because one thing that happens to us when we metal detect, and it even still happens to me, you'll dig something and you won't know what it is. You just cannot figure out what it is, but you think it's something. Well, if you take it to one of these shows and start walking around and showing some of the people that have exhibits set up,
Yeah.
usually somebody there can tell you what you've got. And
Absolutely.
that's because the shows are actually a mix of dug items that we dig with our metal detectors and metal detector dealers, etc. And the other half is just the hardcore artifact collectors. They'll have a lot of non-dug things of that nature. But everybody there enjoys historical artifacts. So the shows are opening back up.
The shows are opening back up.
We have not had to postpone hours. We've been real blessed with it. We had all of ours on schedule. Up in Virginia, though, there was several shows up there that had to be canceled last year.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think those are back in the rotation now, and I think everything's looking up now.
Absolutely. I know here in Florida, our numbers are starting to go down on the COVID as people, I think I saw that we had 28% of the people had their shots already. Yeah. So it's got to be going away here soon.
Oh, yeah.
Things will
get back last forever. I think we're over the hump with everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Where does he live and hunt?
And people are asking where you live and hunt at, but you hunt all over. But you said you're in Georgia. Yes,
I do. I've hunted all the way from from Florida up to upstate New York, up into New Hampshire, everywhere really. Well, not much on the other side of the Mississippi River, but I actually live north Atlanta, Georgia, and I actually live in the town or next to the town I was born in. I've been around a little bit, but I ended up back where I started.
Yeah.
Most of my hunting for the first 30 years or so was in North Georgia, because if you do your history, we had a lot of Civil War activity up here.
Right.
But the problem was they came through North Georgia. They were only there for 3 or 4 months. So there was a limited amount of stuff to be found. Well, that stuff is getting real scarce now. And where nowadays I go to South Carolina a lot, metal detecting. North Carolina, I actually went to the dig stock hunt here a while back in North Carolina. And that was a pretty good hunt too. I'd forgotten about that. I go to so many places I forget about them all.
Yeah. Tim Naylor had asked, had you hunted in Europe before?
I have never been. There was a trip that we had lined up that American Digger was going to be partial sponsors to, and then COVID hit and everything fell through, and I don't know where all that stands. But I want to go to Europe. I definitely want to go to England especially. Now, Bob Roach, who is our senior editor, his job actually lets him be in various stations across the world, and he's done hunting in all kinds of places. England, but not only England, but also he's hunted in Russia at some of the World War II sites. He's hunted on some World War I sites. I know he's also hunted I'm sorry, there's distractions going on here. Nita, is that you?
I think that might be my phone.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was looking for something to answer. Bob has hunted worldwide, and he's actually been hunting a lot of the camps of, if you remember the movie Lawrence of Arabia, he actually is hunting a lot of those sites right now, which is really cool stuff. It's not as ancient as some of the stuff I would like, but it's a lot of history.
Yeah, it's history. Absolutely.
It's history and the funny thing is, he goes to these villages and nobody has a problem with him metal detecting, but they can't understand why he's not looking for gold. They don't understand why he wants to dig up rusty stuff. So that's kind of funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
It's a piece of history.
We've actually got an article coming up by him, which is kind of hilarious, but it's called Among the Loons, and it's talking about some of the crazy encounters he's had with people while he's out metal detecting worldwide. So that gives you a little bit of the overseas flair in the magazine coming up.
Okay. And I guess I've got a question here, and I don't know how to even ask it. It says, Butch, when is that issue being delivered I guess the latest issue, has that already been delivered?
The latest issue. Okay, that's this one. Yes, that should everyone should have that one by now. And there's actually been another one since then that's been delivered. That's is that right, Anita? Issue 3, is it out? Well, Anita's left me high and dry here, but without looking at our files, let's see. Hey, Jude. Yes, issue 3. You should have issue 3 by now. So, or excuse me, issue 3 is mailing out.
Is mailing out now.
Corrected.
Maybe that's maybe that's what
in
he's
the mail. In other words, yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, the post office has really been tough to deal with this year. I know a lot of people have had delayed issues. We had one issue that got delayed almost a month, and the post office, the sorting facility, said that they had received them, but we couldn't find them from there. And then finally they showed up. We sent out a lot of replacements.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, remind Anita to send me my 5 of the last issue, the last 5.
I will. I'm sure she's probably already got them packed up. She's definitely on the ball with that stuff.
Yes, and I think she's.
By the way, folks, that's support our dealers on this. You can buy them direct from us, but buy them from Phil. I mean, let him show it pays to stock American Digger magazine.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, buy from your local dealer. Absolutely.
Yeah, I really believe in that.
That's what it's all about. But I've got, let's see, a couple other things on my list here. These came off of Facebook. I guess Gary Gross wants to know, what did Butch do before pinpointers?
Funny story. We were talking about Garrett early on. I never believed in a pinpointer until Garrett finally came out with not the Garrett Carrot, but the one right before that.
The black one.
And the black one. And I did start using it, and I learned to love it. But I went up until that time never having a pinpointer. And the ones that were on the market, White's had one. I think maybe Fisher had one, but
yeah,
I didn't like them. They were big, they were bulky, and I could do just as well with my detector pinpointing with it. But looking back, though, a lot of those sites back then that I was hunting were not as trash filled as some of the ones you have to hunt now to get stuff. Back then, you could still kind of pick and choose a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I went for years without a pinpointer, just using the pinpoint feature on my detector.
That's what I did for the longest time until the TV shows came out and everybody had a pinpointer, and everybody's asking me for a pinpointer and they want to know if I used one. And I always used my hand. My hand was my pinpointer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll grab the dirt and wave in front of the coil.
Well, I tell you, when the pinpointers really started showing their worth was when you were talking about DIV earlier up in Virginia, Culpeper. The soil up there is incredibly hot, and the only machines that consistently work well were the PI machines, the pulse induction machines.
Right.
When the GPX's Mind Labs came out, if you've ever hunted with those, they are impossible to pinpoint with. You cannot tell within a foot wide of where you're going to dig, or I can't. So that's when the pinpointers really started coming on to their own, is when people started using the GPXs.
Yeah. When I was there, I was using the PI. I was using White's TDI Pro.
Yeah, TDI. That's the one I started with.
Yeah, and that's an awesome detector. It would go like a foot and a half on a mini ball. So
it would. That's right.
But the problem with that's good, but it's bad too. When you dig 20 of those, you're about beat.
I know, that's right. And plus, there was on most PI machines that I know of, there is no true discriminating feature. You kind of get an idea of what's what by the tone, but
right.
My biggest problem with the Mind Lab, I learned to actually hear what was, if it was lead or non-ferrous or iron or whatever. But when I had my TDI, I could not for the life of me figure out if it was iron or if it was worth digging. So I was passing up iron targets, I thought. And then a guy came up to me, he was holding a sword belt plate, one of the Civil War era square sword belt plates with the eagle on it. I'm like, let me read that. Let me see what it sounds like. And I ran over it. It sounded just like the iron had been rejected.
Yeah.
My heart sank at that point. So
Yeah, so it's best if you got a PI to dig it all, but I was able to with that with that TDI Pro, I could ground balance get a target, ground balance it out, the nail out. I could tell it was a nail. After doing that a bunch of times, I
Well,
figured it out.
know your detector.
Yes, absolutely. You got to know the detector, no matter what detector it is. You just got to know it.
Exactly.
Um, Let me keep going on my list then. And I was like you, I hunted for years without that pinpointer. And then I just started seeing everybody have them. So I figured I got to try it now. Now, if I'm dirt hunting, I'll use a pinpointer. On the beach, I won't because I've got a big scoop. And actually,
Yeah,
one,
with that, you probably wouldn't need it with a scoop.
yeah, you don't because you got a big wide scoop. And I just had a comment. John said he loves his hybrid stealth scoop. So thank you, John. That is an awesome scoop. And then another John, I can't read that last name there.
My goodness.
What
It's
is-
Boja's not, wait, I do good with Polish.
You do good with Polish, I
Yes,
don't.
Bojanowski.
John Bujanowski says, "Will we see Butch at Treasure Week?" And I think you already answered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, John, and do not ask me to pronounce your name once we get there. You will forever be just known as John to me once I see you there. But
There
yes,
you
I'll
go.
be there at Treasure Week.
All right. And my friend Rick Tumbleson wants to know how many Civil War cannonballs have you found, and what's your favorite one?
Oh wow. I never particularly went after shells. I mean, some people actually, study the trajectory of the cannons and all. All mine were found incidentally metal detecting at battle sites or in campsites, even a few of them. But altogether, I think I've got 45 Civil War artillery shells, and probably half of those are cannonballs. And I have not found one in the last 5 years, so they're getting very hard to find now.
Yeah.
My favorite one that I found would be oh gosh. Oh, that's hard to say. It's actually a Confederate polygonal shell, which actually the inside, if you ever look at it, it's segmented inside of it like a grenade. And when they blew up, the pieces would come off in little octagon shapes. And it was very much like a grenade. But if you look inside it with a flashlight, you can see all the flat surfaces. So that's probably my favorite out of all of them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, it seems like I'm stealing the show here, buddy. You got some questions up there?
Jeff broke the internet.
He's surfing the internet.
My internet's breaking up. At least it's stable and you guys are good. So, nope, everything's coming through fine. So let's just rock and sock with it.
You know what it is? You guys have so many viewers out there that we have broke the internet. We
like doing that. That's the excuse we gave when we had the same issue when we had Kim Fisher, Mel Fisher's son on.
Oh, yeah, he'd break it too, yes.
Yeah, he broke it.
He's
So
he's a great guy.
Kim Fisher broke the internet. That's what it is. All right, well, let me keep going down my list here. What is your oldest find?
My oldest find as far as metal, because of course, like everybody else, I have arrowheads and things, but my oldest find in metal is 16, and I cannot read the last two digits on the date, but it's a hammered cob, and I found it in Savannah, Georgia, at a slave shack location, believe it or not, because things like that end up. By the way, if you ever hunt a plantation site, hunt the slave quarters, because I don't know why, but they ended up with some really neat stuff hidden in the cabin. So, yeah, that's the oldest confirmed find I have. Now I do have a pewter piece that I found at a cellar hole in Massachusetts at a site that dated back to the early 17s, late 16s, and it appears to be like a Jesuit religious emblem. I'm not sure. You can only make out part of it, but you can see the cross and all that on it, and it's made out of pewter, but there's no way to positively date it. I've never seen another one like it.
Okay. And how about gold coins? You found any gold coins?
Not this year, no, and not the previous year. And actually, I've never found one in my life. Gold coins are they're the one thing that I cannot seem to get my coil over.
Yeah, you and me both. Probably
Well, they're pretty rare. It's not like people think. You don't just get a metal detector and go out and find a gold coin. I'd say probably 3/4 of us never find one, no matter how long we detect.
right.
And then
Yeah,
there's that other fourth that go out and find not one but two or three. I know a girl. In fact, she may be listening. A woman. I won't say her name, but she actually found for her first gold coin, it was two gold coins stuck together. So
We need to talk about
you
that.
know,
yeah. So, I've been looking for a gold coin for over 40 years, so it'll happen one of these
oh
days.
yeah,
Just
it's
gotta keep going, keep looking.
You found
it is, and gold is gold. People are not going to lose gold, even though those coins are so small. I don't see how they help from losing them.
Yeah,
But I think if you had a gold coin, you probably really made sure that you had it in your hand or something.
absolutely. You held on to it.
Yeah.
So, what do you consider your best find other than your wife? What did you consider your best find?
Well, it's a toss up. If you're talking about in most valuable find, the first Civil War belt buckle I ever found, and I think I've got like 40 something belt buckles. But anyway, the first one I ever found was a Georgia State seal, and it was actually a cartridge box plate. And when I kicked it up, I saw the back of it. I'd never dug a plate before, and I saw the hooks. I actually kicked it up with my foot and kicked the leaves off it. I'm like, oh man, that's a Yankee box plate with the U.S. on it. It's even got the loops on it. I flipped it over, and it looked like a big E when I held it sideways. I'm like, this is crazy. And then I took my finger and started rubbing on it, and I saw the arch, and that was the columns I was looking at. And that one on the open market, it's not for sale, but if it was, that would probably be $7 to $8 grand.
Jeez.
And there were only, what is really cool of this particular style, there was only 1,000 of the box plates made.
Hmm.
So compare that to like a 1909 SVDB penny. How many tens of thousands of those were made? So this is super rare to find one.
Yeah, that is a rare.
My most interesting find was actually a soldier's identification tag. And I looked it up and sent off for his records and all, and found out he had been listed as a deserter. And I thought, well, that's kind of a shame. So I checked into it more. He was actually had deserted from his unit and then gone back and joined the hospital corps and was acting as a nurse, which was still desertion. But when I looked it up, his father was a famous architect from Connecticut, Etheltown. And you look on the internet, you see all kinds of bridges, things designed by his daddy. So within 5 or 6 months after they charged him with desertion, they dropped all the charges against him. And I think that was probably because his dad was just so influential. So he remained in the service and I think grew a pension until the early 1900s.
Interesting.
Weirdest find, I got to tell you this one. Weirdest find, I was actually in a subdivision between two houses, and I found a piece that had fallen off an airplane wing that was about that big. So a pretty sizable piece, about a foot long, that had come off an airplane wing. And I'm sitting there thinking, how does that happen?
Yeah,
I mean, there weren't any crashes that I knew of, but anyway.
a piece falls off. That is a weird find. Absolutely. I wanted to thank a customer here, John Bruce. Said I visited Phil's store last week and was so impressed with his inventory knowledge. If you're ever in Tampa, it's a great place to visit. Thank you, Phil, for your hospitality. Well, thank you, John, for coming in and being our customer. We appreciate it. Just next time, you got to pick up an American Digger magazine while you're in.
Absolutely.
For sure. So, Jeff, are we getting close to that time? 1 minute. Okay.
Yeah, we got a couple questions. No, we got a couple questions. Dan Backhouse wants to know about the Relic Radio, and Diggin Canuck wants to know what's the oldest Canadian coin you've ever found.
Oh boy, the Canadian coin one first. I have not found probably the oldest Canadian coin I ever found was maybe a 54 Canadian cent. I did when I was up in New York. I did find, I believe it was a Confederate, I mean, not Confederate, a Canadian toonie, I think they call it. It's two different metals together. Is that right?
So the toonie I think is $2, and the loonie I think is $1.
Okay, well, I think it was a loonie that I found. I just didn't want to offend
That's
anybody.
right.
Yeah.
Liz will probably teach me that when I'm on her show. So, but I think it is a loonie and a toonie.
That one, so I have not dug near as old a stuff as you have from Canada. So, you know, the funny thing about it, there's some old stuff dug up there too. Some cool stuff. People
Oh,
forget.
absolutely. Revolutionary War and War of 1812 time period
What
stuff.
was the other question?
What was the other question, Jeff?
About the radio show. About the radio show.
Oh, okay. Yes, American Diggers Relic Roundup. We come on at 9 o'clock. We'll be on tonight. We're on every Monday night. And it's myself, Lloyd Milam, and Jeff Lubert from Colorado all join in with the show. And we usually have somebody that has been in the magazine, the last issue of the magazine. They come on, they talk about their article, talk about their finds. It's a call-in show. And you can find out more about it if you'll go to on Facebook, Relic Roundup, or American Digger Relic Roundup on Facebook. And then that'll tell you how to connect to the show. It's through Spreaker, and it's a radio show, and we have a lot of listeners. We've been doing it for, gosh, close to 11 years now. In fact, I want a paycheck.
Yeah, for doing it that long.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. It's like, Jeff, oh, I'm back.
I broke the internet, guys. I'm telling you.
Now, I think that was Jeff.
We got to get Jeff off this dial up.
Who knows?
Oh,
Who knows?
yeah, I guess we're doing drawings now, Jeff, right?
Yep, we are.
Should we get away?
Okay, everybody. That's the one. That's the one. So, everybody, we've got the names drawn. When I announce your name, you'll have, if you're on Facebook, you can Facebook Messenger or text Phil or myself. You'll have 3 minutes. With your name, please. And if you're watching YouTube, you have to text and you see the numbers at the bottom of the screen. Not time here, don't know necessarily. So, okay, for the prizes tonight, there'll be 2 winners. The first prize is a 1-year subscription to American Digger magazine and a copy of the soon-to-be New York Times bestseller, I Won't Shut Up. And the second prize winner will be a Butch's book, I Won't Shut Up. So, winner number 1 is Bill Gross.
Woo!
You got 3 minutes. And winner number 2 is Lawnmower Man 219. I think he's a YouTuber.
Yeah, I think he's
So you got 3 minutes, guys. Phil or myself. You got the numbers down there.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody that they've got to text or Facebook message Jeff or myself, or text to that cell phone number. Jeff, you were breaking up when you were telling them what they had to do. So I'm going to remind them, please put your name in the text or the Facebook message so we know who you are. And they've got 3 minutes to do so. And while they're doing that, let's talk about your book a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
So tell us about it.
Okay, it's called, as we just looked at a while ago, No, I Won't Shut Up. And actually what this one is, if you look in the back of the magazine, I have a column every issue, and it's generally pretty funny, or so people say. And it's actually one of the most popular non-Doug features in the magazine. So we've had people ask us before, send me such and such column, or send me this or that, or what issue was this column in? So what I did, I took all the columns for the last 16 years, combined them into one book, and arranged them to subject matter. So you can actually sit there, you can read for 200 something pages, laugh your rear end off, And the next day, get up, go metal detecting, and talk about it. It's all connected to metal detecting, and I think people are really going to like it. And it's actually available through us at AmericanDigger.com, or you can shoot Phil or Jeff a message and they can forward it to me, or you can also get it on Amazon. And the only thing on Amazon is I can't personalize it or sign it. Now, also, we've got some dealers that are going to be stocking it. I'm not going to talk about anybody else except for Phil Myers, and Phil is going to be stocking it at his store.
Yes, we'll have it. If you don't win today,
Yeah.
if you weren't the winner, you can always stop in the shop and pick it up. We won't
Absolutely.
talk about Amazon because we don't like Amazon.
Nah, I'm not a big Amazon fan either. So,
So, yeah, they can always stop in and pick it up. So I guess, did you get a winner yet, Jeff? Sounds like something's working on his end.
sounds like a pinpointer.
It does.
Bill Gross.
Bill Gross got his, and the other
Yeah,
one.
Bill Gross is here. I'm doing the back to internet, so give me a break. So Lawnmower Man has not contacted me yet.
Okay. And he hasn't contacted me either. But anyway, we'll keep going. He's still got a little more time, doesn't he?
1 minute.
1 minute and counting.
1 minute.
Yeah, so 1 minute and counting. But yeah, so anyway, you can pick it up in the shop. I'll have those probably within a week because they're already printed, right?
Oh yeah, they're already printed, ready to go.
Okay, cool.
So those should be coming possibly with your
Jeff,
order.
we do have a winner. I got to interrupt, Jeff. We have a winner.
Excellent. Do we?
Who was it?
It was Lawnmower Man.
Yay!
Okay, we're good.
That's Chuck and
Nancy is free.
So he gets.
Read what Tim said.
And Tim says, visit Phil's shop. There, you're always going to be a winner. So thank you, Tim.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's a happy day when they visit my shop. And we're glad we've got the visitors and the winners. And thank you, Butch, for doing that. That's just awesome. Those are excellent prizes that they won. And Jeff, did you want to jump in anytime?
Just tell them to email me their information.
Yes. And
Yeah.
Email me their information.
Yes.
Is that gang signs?
Yeah, Butch, what Jeff has, he's out in Madison, Florida, and he's got internet issues.
I know.
I'm
we always have fun with each other. I mean, I've been on this show before, and it's like when you're out in the woods, you're kidding with your buddies and all. It's just it's what makes it all fun.
Yeah. So here in Tampa, I've got a nice internet with an Ethernet. I'm not even on wireless, and then mine comes out perfect. But Jeff does have a little trouble with his from time to time. So
we have internet issues here sometime, but it's either fix the internet or keep the indoor plumbing. So I guess I won't fix the internet.
So Jeff, we had 2 winners, right? Okay. So we're done. Awesome. All right. So I guess we can keep going because we've still got some time left.
5 minutes.
Yes. So I guess, do you have questions over there, Joss?
No.
I still have some here. And I don't know if we covered it or not yet, Butch, but what was your favorite metal detector?
Oh, wow. Okay, my favorite one was an old White's Coin Master. I mean, it was one that had the big old box and all. It was
box.
Yep, that was it. It was the first good metal detector I ever felt like I had. And if I remember correctly, I know that you could open up the back and I could put snacks in there like my candy bars and all. That's how big the thing was. And I did a lot of finding with that. And that was a machine that you really had to learn what it was telling you. And I caught on to the tones and the meter real quick of it. So I don't have it anymore. I always sold my old detectors to make way for a new one or to, be able to afford to upgrade. I no longer do that, but I wish I had every detector I ever owned, because that's one that I would really like to look back on.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some old whites too, and I guess one of my
Everything.
favorite one was the White's Eagle and then the White Spectrum.
Yep.
Those
Good.
those were just awesome detectors, or single frequency, so they wouldn't compete like on the multi-frequency do today, especially on saltwater, but they just, for relic hunting, they were just awesome.
Oh yeah, they
And
were. They were great.
I know people still use them today, and they just
I wonder who that is.
really do well.
They,
So,
they do.
Jeff, are you still there, buddy? Okay. Yeah, I see he's giving me hand signs, so I guess I'm gonna just keep going. And let me go down my list here. Okay, here, this is a good one someone sent me. In your opinion, what do you think is going to happen with metal detectors, new technology, etc.?
Well, I tell you what I would love to see, but I don't think it's any time in the future. If they ever come out with a detector that it can eliminate aluminum without eliminating any other non-ferrous metals, I'm going to buy stock in it. Because I know some sites that are eat up with can slaw, aluminum can slaw, and if I could knock those out. But here's what I really see realistically with detectors. I think they're going to. I don't know if they're going to get any more sensitive than what they are or not, because we got some that go pretty deep right now. And if they do, you got to ask yourself, how deep do you want to dig? Do you want to dig 2.5, 3 foot deep for a fired Civil War bullet or a wheat penny? How deep do you want to go with them? So I don't think that's an issue. I think what we're going to see is more and more are going to become wireless. I think all of them are eventually going to catch on and make them waterproof.
Yeah.
And something that has been mentioned before on them, just little add-ons, but what about maybe a GPS on them where you could actually click in when you find somewhere and lock in on that position, record it somehow. Something that's real simple, but people don't think about is, you got a cell phone now to tell time, so I guess it doesn't matter. But used to, I always wish they would put a clock of some kind on a detector, because I would have to take a wristwatch. I couldn't keep it on my wrist because of the way I would dig, and I would actually strap it to my metal detector. So, little things like that. But I think we're going to see them getting better and more lightweight, and I think discrimination is going to get better on them. But never forget, though, no matter how good a detector gets, the best discriminator is your shovel. In other words, if you have any doubts at all, go ahead and dig it up, because
Yeah.
that's how the good stuff is found.
Absolutely. When in doubt, dig it out.
Exactly.
And it's better to dig too much than not enough.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a simple
Absolutely.
fact of life.
Absolutely.
We've got newer technology. They go deeper, and they have better discrimination. But if you're using too much discrimination, you could lose something really good. So it's
I
better to.
think people try to knock pop tops out at parks and stuff, and I guess you can do that, but how many rings are you going to miss that way?
Right. Yeah. So,
You can't do that. You've got to dig some of the crap if you're going to dig the good stuff.
absolutely. Well, I guess we're getting close to the time.
Oh,
So what I'm going to do, because Jeff's going to have to tell us who's going to be on the show next week or whatnot. I'm going to thank you, Butch, for coming on
thank
with
you.
us, and thank you for putting out an awesome magazine. It is my
Appreciate
favorite.
it.
That is my favorite magazine. That's actually the only
My
magazine.
favorite one too.
Yeah, it's the only one we sell in the shop.
Well,
But
there's not many choices anymore. I mean, unless you want to go strictly digital, there's not many real magazines left.
right, and yours, the print quality is superior.
Thank you.
And it's just a good reference magazine for folks who don't have that. If you don't have reference books, that magazine makes a good reference
It does.
material.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that, and thank you
Thank
for
you so
donating
much,
the
guys.
prizes. And I'll be looking forward to my 5 more editions and the books.
And the book, and you will get them if they. I guess soon they're on the way now, but you will have
Okay.
them. So,
All righty. Well, thank
all
you,
right,
and
thanks
thank
a
you
lot,
for coming on
folks.
the
We
show.
appreciate it.
And thank you to all my guests, all my members on Facebook and YouTube. And thank you, Jeff, for doing this. And thank you, Jocelyn, for handing me the questions and keeping everything going here. So, Jeff, you want to sign off, my
Bye,
friend?
guys.
You ready to sign off?